profile because I thought I would take you guys through a tour of my most played games. So, without further ado, we'll get into it. I had this suggestion to look at my games and give a synopsis of the games I've played, so we're gonna do that. So, my most played game, far and away, is Dota 2. Dota 2 is the original MOBA. At the time, it was called ARTS, Action Real-Time Strategy, or maybe it was Adventure Real-Time Strategy. Dota 2 has a very long history full of betrayal, greed, and unlikely comebacks. That's the story of Dota 2. You may be familiar with League of Legends, which is the essentially pirated and stolen version of Dota, which was itself just a custom game for Warcraft 3. The premise of Dota 2 is that you are defending parts of fragments of something called the Mad Moon, which had two ancient warring gods sealed inside. The Mad Moon was broken and parts of it fell to this planet, and now the heroes fight to protect one while destroying the other. So, timeless balance of the forces of creation and the forces of order. So, if you don't know much about Dota, it's sort of like StarCraft, and if you don't know what StarCraft is, I think you may not ever be able to get into Dota. But I do, and I did. So, almost 4,000 hours of my life in that game. My next most played game on Steam is Starfield. So, Starfield is a game that came out just last year. It takes place in the distant future, about 300 years from now, at the recording of this video. And the premise is that you are a miner who uncovers a mysterious artifact, spurring a journey of discovery through an explorer's group across empty, vast reaches of space. There's different political empires and things like that. You can check out the last video for a little more information on the key players there. This game has mixed reviews, I'm sure. Yeah, a lot of people just wanted Skyrim, and they didn't get Skyrim, and so a lot of the negative reviews are people panicking because they're worried about the next Skyrim, which I know is called The Elder Scrolls. Actually, if it was played on Steam, my second most played game would be Oblivion. The Elder Scrolls Oblivion is far and away my most played RPG. I think I have something like maybe 1,500 hours in Oblivion. And then after that it would actually be Fallout 76, but that was played through the Bethesda store for a while. And then later came to Steam, so I'm sure that's still up here. I'm sure we'll get to it. But next in the Steam list is Fallout 4. Fallout 4 takes place in the post-apocalyptic wasteland. You play as the sole survivor in a vault, and you are searching to find your son who was kidnapped while you were in the vault. So, it takes you across the Massachusetts Commonwealth, and you encounter different groups, one of them being the Institute, which is responsible for creating synthesized humanoids, or synths. So that's new to the Fallout series. This Institute and the widespread presence of synths, both known and unknown. on this. Played a few games like Uno, like Love Letter, simple hand-based games. We did a lot of that on Tabletop Simulator. If you're familiar with the 2020s, you know that we were inside for a long time. And it was hard to play board games like that, so Tabletop Simulator was a bit of a saving grace at that time. Almost 200 hours I have in that. Next on the list is Slay the Spire. This is what ignited my passion for card-based deck-building roguelikes. Slay the Spire is awesome. It's as complex as you want it to be. It's not so difficult that you can't enjoy it, just like as a person who doesn't want to pull out the spreadsheets and all of that. And I'm that type of player. I don't want to get spreadsheets out. I just want to know if something feels good. And if it feels good, I keep playing that strategy. So not great at Slay the Spire. Definitely have room to improve. But it's fun. It's fun, and I really like the narratives and all the storytelling in it. It's very cool. If you haven't played Slay the Spire, check it out. Our good friend, My Secret ASMR Gaming Channel, has played a couple of games of this on his channel, so you can go check that out. I highly recommend you do because it's a fun game, and he has a lot of fun playing it. Next on my list is Inscription. Once again, this is a card-based deck-building roguelike. Inscription, to me, has a very strong theme, very atmospheric. The sound effects in the game are great. Everything about this game is just so enchanting, just sucks you in. I think probably the first, maybe 15 hours of this game was played in 2 sittings. It just pulls you in unbelievably good. I would say it's probably in the horror genre, but there's not jump scares, there's nothing gruesome or anything like that. It's just very moody, atmospheric, and dark, so super cool. If you haven't heard of Inscription, give it a try. We've got a video on the channel of that game. You should check it out. Next on the list is Cyberpunk 2077. This game came out in 2020, and people were very mad when this game came out. But recently, the narrative has turned on that. They came out with the Phantom Liberty DLC, and since then, people have loved it. I played the game at release and thought it was amazing. And then they released this 2.0 update, and I haven't played it since then. But really fun game. It takes place in the year 2077, when corporations have supplanted governments as the primary force of law and order enforcement. So corporations are in charge of the governments, and what government there is that's not in their control just kowtows to them. So you have things like vending machines in your own apartment. Everything is commodified. You have a lot of motorcycles and cars and things that are grimy but futuristic, because it's not a future that is built on lifting everyone up and rising tides lifting all ships. In the cyberpunk genre, that doesn't happen. It's very much the bottom stays the bottom. It's just as gritty, but now with new sci-fi toys to play with. You play a character, and your background can change. It doesn't have too much of an impact on the game, but there is that option to play different backgrounds. You play a character who becomes involved in criminal enterprising as a mercenary, and you take a job which, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but the job goes wrong, and you end up with a hologram that is haunting your consciousness of a revolutionary called Johnny Silverhand, who's played by Keanu Reeves, and your journey is to try Cyberpunk. We have Goner. Goner is just a very cute roguelike. It's a 2D platforming roguelike. Let's see if I can pull up some pictures here. It's very much like, it's not really a bullet hell, but maybe. You've just got stuff all over the screen all the time. You play this little character named Ick, who is a blob, and throughout the game you collect different heads, backpacks, and weapons. And you are trying to fight your way all the way to death to save your friend Sally, who has disappeared from you. So, Sally is a space whale. She's great, and the game is very minimalistic on themes, on explanation, and on detail, which kind of makes it perfect just to sit down and have a cute, challenging experience. The game's very hard. So, I really enjoyed that. I've got a video on my other channel, my full volume gaming channel, about how to play Goner, because it's a difficult game just to pick up. The Elder Scrolls Online. I actually don't remember the story of this. I played almost 100 hours of it, and I think most of that was just building my character and then grinding the same area over and over again because I thought it was pretty. So I just kind of trolled around and fought stuff. It was fun when I played it. It didn't seem super grindy, but I really don't know. Can't speak to this game, but I thought it was fun. There are additional features that you could pay for, and I didn't pay for those, and I think they would have been really helpful. Things like the crafting bag, so that you don't have to use your stash space on crafting materials. So that was it was fun. No game subscription required, that's true. But it's one of those that, like, yeah, basically, if you want to play the game heavily, you should. It's similar to Fallout 76, the Fallout first. Get a lot of stuff with that. I mean, if that's like your main game, you're gonna want to have that subscription. But that one did not end up being my main game. Next on this list is Skyrim. Now, I played most of my Skyrim days on Xbox 360. So this is the actual initial release of The Elder Scrolls Skyrim. So this was, I guess, the original. I bought this when I first got a gaming PC to do the mods, and boy oh boy, that was addictive. So I've got almost 80 hours in this version of the game now. If you know Skyrim, you're aware that there's like 4 different versions, I think. There's like original, anniversary, the VR version, and there's another one. Anyway, this is the original version that you can't actually buy anymore. But I played this and liked it. You play as a prisoner who is released, saved, I don't know, by a calamity when dragons reappear in Skyrim. So, this dragon, who is the big baddie, comes at the very beginning of the game and saves you from being executed, just so that later you can actually slay all the dragons and them. So, that's not even a spoiler. That's like within the first 2 quests of the main story, you learn that you are the Dragonborn, and that you Synopsis review now. We could bump that up probably to a more positive rating. It's a very unknown game, but oh, it's so good, so good. Alright, next is Batro. Now, I don't think we've played Batro on the channel, but we're going to. It's a very fun game. Indie card game. Oh, Indiecade. There's a sale going on at the time of recording this video. This is sort of a deck builder, sort of a roguelike. There's not even a story to this. There's just poker, and you collect these different Joker cards that make your poker hands more powerful or do different things to them. If you haven't seen this played, my secret ASMR gaming channel has a video or two of him playing this game, and you can see it's a lot of fun. It's crazy addictive. It didn't even come out that long ago, I don't think. February of this year, and I already have how many hours? Almost 70 hours of it, and I don't have a lot of time to play games, so big recommend on that. There's no real story there. I guess I didn't talk about the Star of Providence story. The synopsis of the story is that you play a little ship in the remnants of a destroyed society. So basically everything is machines or monsters. That's all that's been able to survive in this wasteland. So you are trying to battle your way up the tower. I think that's it, or maybe you're going down to the facility. I don't know. It's one. The story's not necessarily abstract, but it is minimalist. So I kind of like that. Next we have Rayman Legends. This was a really fun Rayman game. If you're familiar with the Rayman stories, I don't really know that there is a storyline. It's just a fun kind of platforming game. I really recommend that you play this with friends because you can save each other, you can mess with each other. The music is great. It's really cute. I think that any ages can play and enjoy this game, so recommend that to all who enjoy a game they can play with friends. And Civilization 5, this was one of the first PC games that I started to play. I think it was Minecraft and then StarCraft and then this. Civilization takes place on the planet Earth, where you control a civilization led by one of the great leaders. So it could be like George Washington or Gandhi or Cleopatra, George Washington, whoever, and you play on these hex-based tiles to build new cities, accomplish technological feats, spread religion, and potentially wage war against other civilizations, trying to become the world leader by any means possible. It's like a top-down isometric game, so if you've played this, you could still get into Dota. It doesn't have to be StarCraft, but this sort of top-down isometric click-around game is something that I've fallen prey to. Love this. Love this a lot. So that was I think I went from StarCraft to this because I didn't have the payment for StarCraft, so I could only play Terran. And I played Terran and eventually got bored of playing Terran. And I wanted to play Protoss, but I couldn't afford to play Protoss. So instead I thought maybe I got gifted Civilization, or it went on a sale. I don't know. Next, Cuphead. Cuphead is another retro style game that came out recently. I think 2018, 2017. You play as Cuphead, or if you're playing two players, Cuphead and Mugman, and you are trying to collect these bounties because you have inadvertently gambled away your soul. So you are trying to pay back these debts so that you can earn your soul back. So you are fighting bosses things, and so no one can stop their cult leader from ascending. You then play as the prisoner who escapes and is tasked with finding the long-lost heir to the Emperor. So, that's the game. If you haven't played Oblivion, it's probably too late for you. The graphics don't hold up. But there is a mod project called Sky Oblivion, which is in the works, and that may be released within our lifetime. It takes the story of Oblivion, the environments of Oblivion and everything, and puts them into Skyrim. So you have the Skyrim level progression, systems, combat, all of that, but the story and the world are Oblivion, so I'm going to be playing that like crazy when it comes out. Alright, next is Hades. Hades is another top-down isometric game, but this one is best played with a controller. It's also a roguelike, and you play as Zagreus, trying to escape from Hades. So you are essentially a petulant child who is trying to get to the surface to find your mother, but you always come back. Death claims you each and every time, but you battle your way through the different levels of hell. So it's very pretty. Every person in this game is beautiful, really thematic and cool. The music is good, the sound effects are great, a lot of variety in the gameplay. So as far as roguelikes go, this one to me is a standout of the genre. A lot of good unlockables in that. Next I've got Monster Train. Now Monster Train is another deck building roguelike adventure where you are trying to reignite hell, I think, yes. So you are essentially trying to bring balance back to the world, but you're playing as the quote-unquote bad guys, so that the good guys don't become just fully oppressive and controlling of everything. So, I think that's my understanding of the story, but it's a deck building game. It's like Slay the Spire, but you play it in 3 different levels, and instead of heat for this. I didn't like Hollow Knight. For me, it was just like depressing and soulless to play, but apparently that's one of the things that people probably find most charming about it, because it is quite dark. For me though, not in a way that I felt like I was bringing light to it, because there was just so much you couldn't do in each area. Just felt really defeating and demoralizing to play. So that's my take on it. Hopefully you're asleep by now, because if you're not, you're going to be so mad at me. Everybody loves this game, everybody but me. Too bad. Next on the list is BioShock Infinite. This is sort of a long time for just a single story game, but I've played several playthroughs of this. You play as a detective called Booker DeWitt, who is hired to rescue or to bring back a missing person, this Elizabeth, who is in the floating city of Columbia. This thematically is one of my favorite games. I like that the aesthetic of this BioShock game is much less dingy. The first two BioShock games are great. I love them, but they're really dirty and dank and moldy. BioShock Infinite is not that way. Things are very pristine and new. So it's very steampunk, which I adore. Really, really like this. It's my favorite of the trilogy. So yeah, you get these airships and different things, and it's still pretty dark in the themes, especially with the what do you call that? It's like I don't know, essentially their government is their religion, so they're like led by the prophet, and all of their laws are the same as their religion, and you get to see how that really is kind of dystopian and very, very bad in the way that they treat outside groups and people who are not their chosen people. So, kind of ridiculous. Elizabeth is one of the best companions in any video game. You never have to save her from something. She never goes where she's not supposed to go. She doesn't make enemies angry before you're ready to deal with them. And she always throws things to you like health or ammo or money throughout the game. So Elizabeth, best companion of any video game. Alright, next on the list is Sable. Sable takes place in a desert world, the origins of which you discover along the way, but essentially it's a giant desert through which different nomadic groups have evolved and then settled some semblance of cities. So you play as the character Sable, and you travel on your hoverbike across all of these different environments, discovering relics of the past, like this one, which is a giant machine that you climb into to solve these puzzles. So there's a is another